the ancient crown that turned into a giant to save the kingdom. Long ago, in the lush rainforests of Calabar, there was a great kingdom called Ifat-Ibum. Its people were known for their music, their colorful festivals, and their bravery. At the heart of the kingdom sat the royal palace, built from red earth and decorated with carved wooden pillars that told the history of their ancestors. The king of Ifat-Ibum, Abang-Adet, was a wise and gentle ruler. He owned a crown unlike any other in the world. It was carved from solid gold, decorated with cowries, and shone with a light so bright that even at night, it glimmered like the moon. The people called it Akara Enkpo, the living crown, for it was said to hold the spirit of the first king who founded the land. Generations had passed, and the crown remained the symbol of unity and power. But what many did not know was that the crown had a secret. If the kingdom was ever in grave danger, it would awaken and transform into a mighty giant protector. Only the Abang and the palace priests knew this secret, and they swore never to reveal it unless there was no other hope. The shadow of trouble. One season, dark clouds hung over the kingdom. Raiders from beyond the Cross River, led by a warlord named Okang Udo, sought to conquer Ifat-Ibum. They were fierce, ruthless, and outnumbered the villagers 3-1. Rumors spread that they would march into the kingdom with fire and swords. The people trembled. Farmers abandoned their yam fields, mothers clutched their children close, and the warriors sharpened their spears in silence. Even the drums of the land beat slowly, as though echoing the fear in every heart. Abang-Adet gathered his chiefs and warriors in the palace square. "My people," he said, his voice steady though his heart was heavy, "we face an enemy stronger than us. But we must not let fear destroy us before the battle comes. Ifat-Ibum has always stood strong." Yet deep inside, the king knew they could not win with strength alone. He retreated into the shrine room, where the Akara Enkpo crown rested upon a carved stool. Bowing before it, he whispered, "Great Spirit of our ancestors, if ever there was a time for your help, it is now." The awakening of the crown. That night, as the moon rose high over Calabar, a strange wind swept through the palace. The crown began to glow brighter than ever before. Slowly, before the astonished eyes of the king and priests, the golden crown expanded, growing taller and taller until it stood as a giant of pure gold, its eyes blazing like fire. Its voice thundered across the land. "Fear not, children of Ifat-Ibum. I am the guardian you call. I shall rise to defend the land of our ancestors." The news spread like wildfire. The people gathered, their fear melting into awe. Some bowed, others danced, and the drummers beat their drums louder than ever. Hope returned to the kingdom. The battle for Ifat-Ibum. The next dawn, Okang Udo and his raiders stormed the borders, roaring with confidence. But as they approached the city, they froze in terror. For before them stood the giant crown, towering above the trees, holding a staff made of lightning. With a single step, the giant shook the ground. The raiders' horses reared in fear, and their spears clattered to the ground. Okang Udo, desperate to rally his men, shouted, "It is only a trick of the king. Attack!" But when the giant lifted its staff and struck the earth, a crack opened, and flames shot out like tongues of fire. The raiders screamed, dropped their weapons, and fled into the forest, never to return. The people of Ifat-Ibum erupted into cheers, their voices rising in songs of victory. The return of the crown. When peace was restored, the giant looked down upon the king and the people. "I have fulfilled my duty," it said in a deep, echoing voice. "But remember this, strength alone does not protect the kingdom. Unity, love, and justice are the true guardians of the land. As long as you hold these close to your hearts, Ifat-Ibum will never fall." With that, the giant began to shrink, folding back into itself until it became the golden crown once more, resting quietly on the stool as if it had never moved. The celebration and the lesson. For 7 days and 7 nights, the kingdom celebrated. They beat the drums of victory, danced around the palace square, and sang songs of their ancestors' courage. The children played games in the streets, and the elders told the story of the crown so it would never be forgotten. King Abang Adet wore the crown again, not with pride, but with deep humility. For he knew that the true power of the crown was not its magic, but the reminder that the people must stand together as one. Moral lesson. The story of the ancient crown teaches us that true strength lies not in weapons, but in unity and justice. A kingdom or community survives only when its people stand together. Leadership is not about power, but about protecting and serving with humility. And so, in the land of Calabar, the tale of Okara Engpo, the crown that became a giant, is still told by the firesides, reminding every child that unity can turn even the smallest people into giants.